The On the Manson Show is a contemporary variety show. We cover real-life stories, seeping in lessons.
We bring you great shows, we help you make better choices. We are your one-stop educational channel. Watch us daily for motivational updates.
All right, welcome. I have had to go and use a third-party application. Hopefully that helps me much better to stay on these social media platforms, because trying to use the direct Facebook app is driving me insane. But I actually do want to punch this out. So timestamps, 2:04 a.m. on the 2nd of November, right here in Abu Dhabi. Manson, why are you awake at this point is the conversation I want to have with you. I am 1 hour away from a meeting with the team, and the lovely young lady who knows the crazy time I am trying to make is sending me constant reminders, trying to keep me awake. And I was telling you about the realities of these things. The realities of these things are that if you want to make progress, you've got to be willing to pay some price. There is a price to pay for everything, okay? When you want to go to a place, recently I went to a funeral, and as I was making my travel arrangements to go for the funeral, because it was a 2-day turnaround trip, I bought my flights to the capital city, and then I bought my flight closer to my hometown. And then we had to drive to my father's hometown for the rest of it. And then on my way back, I couldn't find, well, that was not just because I was being a cheapsake, but the timings were that the funeral finished evening on Saturday, and the next flight out of my main city, my regional capital, to the main city would have been at the time when my main flight leaving the capital was, it just wasn't working. So I had to get up that same night and jump on a bus and do a dawn bus to the national capital. And we were talking about the various costs. So obviously the flight is an hour, you are there. The price is about 20 times what it would take to be on the bus, almost 20 times what it would take for the bus ride. When you look at these two things and you think about it in terms of cost only, obviously it is very efficient for you to ride the bus. On this occasion for me though, I did the night bus. So I did my sleeping and I did my nighting and I did my traveling. Uncomfortable, but okay, you know, you have a choice. There are people who cannot be bothered to give the 12 to 14 hours on the bus to make this uncomfortable trip. And so they will dip out of their pockets and they are able to pay for a flight. And there are some people that a flight is completely out of their price range. And so because of the limitations of your pocket, you will have to suffer the inconvenience and the time wastage that is the bus ride to this place. So there's a price to pay, and the price you are willing to pay determines how you get there, what level you enjoy whilst you get there. Are you going to get VIP treatment, or are you going to get T-roll, toilet roll treatment? Depends on the price you are willing to pay. Let's bring it to businesses. So me, I am sitting here right now because I don't have the free range that I have had before to hire people to do this. This would have been something I'd have a VA sort out. Somebody else would have been sitting in a different time zone, having this conversation, sorting this out. but I am at a point in my life where efficiency, financial efficiency, is the game right here. And so, for the sake of financial efficiency, guess what I am doing? I'm still sat here at 2:08. I am just under an hour before the meeting, and I expect the meeting itself to be like an hour and a half. This person is going to talk to me when I'm trying to be alive. And why am I doing this? Is the conversation I really want to share with you. I'm doing this because I no longer want to be confined to where I have been confined for a while. I'm doing this because I want in a few months' time to have this system in place to change my life. 2 years ago, almost, I made the move onto a platform, a new place. And I remember feeling exactly what I'm feeling right now. I remember the overwhelm. I remember having to come back from work and sit here and work like a dog. But you see, this time I'm doing it again. There is very little moaning from me. One, because I know what it takes to make the progress that I want. Two, I know that it is the initial expense in setting up, and that's, oh, say hello to my granddaughter. That's what her mommy left with me. So you guys are interested. I know somebody will pick this up for sure. So say hello to my daughter at the back. Here she is, who keeps me company now in this office. I am not able to pay for other people to do things for me at my convenience. And because I am not able or willing to pay for convenience, I must suffer inconvenience. Why is Amamansi willing to suffer inconvenience? Because I do know that this inconvenience is the cost for the progress I want to see in the next few months. In the next few months, I want to break free from having to turn up before I earn. I am wanting to break free from having to turn up before I earn. I am heading towards being able to do stuff for myself. I am trying really hard to get myself onto places where income comes to me whilst I'm chilling. Yeah. I am wanting to see recurring income. That's actually the main reason why I am doing this to myself. So up until this time, I found income streams that were not necessarily recurring. So when I was selling courses, you buy my course, you pay me upfront. Even if you paid it in installments, it was for a fixed amount of time and we were done. But my income was not recurring. And so for an individual, you have to buy one course and maybe buy the next course and buy the next course so I can get income periodically off you. But in most cases, my income was actually one off. And I had to constantly seek new customers. The old customers pay, and that was the end of it. But what I need is recurring income because you see, I have recurring expenses. My rent is recurring. The food I eat is recurring. Every day I have to eat. Now my children and their bills recurring. Everything around my life and my expenses is recurring. But my earning streams are not recurring. And that's the reason why there was a disconnect. And there has been a disconnect between what is coming in and what is going out. And that's why my life is not as comfortable and it's not as glamorous as I'd like to see it. I hate mathematics. You hear me? I hate mathematics around buying simple things for yourself, where you have to check your bank account before you buy simple things. It irritates me when I need to do addition and subtraction to buy something which is worth less than $1,000. It irritates me because it takes me back to a long time ago, a reality I wanted to run away from a long time ago. And so when I find myself cash strapped, when I need to start doing addition and subtraction, it reminds me that I've not actually moved away from that point. That's illogical. I do know that I've made a huge movement from where that used to be. Yes, when I was at that point, I had nothing and I still had nothing in my bank account. At the moment, I've got a few things sitting in places and I still have nothing in my bank account. But the idea of not having anything in my bank account just upsets me. I want out. I want out of the people pile. Then the question becomes, how do you make it out of the people pile? That's the conversation I want to have with you. Some of you also want to make it out of the people pile. But a lot of people who want to make it out of the people pile don't understand that it will cost you to get out of the people pile, just as it will cost you to stay in the people pile. Poverty will cost you your dignity. Poverty will cost you it will make you compromise things that are so fundamental to you. Poverty will make you do things that will shock you yourself. It will put you in places. That's the cost of poverty. Remaining in poverty has a cost. And getting the hell out of poverty also has a cost. And like I was giving you the analogy of travel plans, you can decide which price you want to pay. Do you want to pay the price, a hefty price, and fly an hour to a place? Or do you want to save the money and travel on a bus for 12 to 14 hours whilst your bottom ached? If you are somebody who is now moving into the high end, the high tickets, you will realize that time is probably the most valuable resource. Those people cannot be bothered to sit on a 14-hour bus. They would rather spend 1 hour flying, and then they'll spend the 13 hours working to make the money back and to make more. See, it is up to you and the price you want to pay, which determines whether you remain in the pile or you get out of the rut. It's entirely up to you. So I talk to you about getting out of the pile, and some of you get to see me in episodes where I have just moved from one level, and I get conversations with you around, can you really talk us through? So I am talking you through. I am trying to move from one level to another level. I am trying to move from fixed earnings to recurring earnings. And to get from fixed earnings to recurring earnings requires systems. I could have paid people to build systems for me, or I can build the systems myself. I don't have the liberties and freedoms to pay all the people who can build for me. So guess what? Has to build it. And today I went to work. I went to work. Yes, there's still that business of needing to have my main bills paid whilst I do this. If I didn't go to work, I would not be able to buy the program that I'm using for this. So I took some of my earnings and I've used that to buy this program, and I'm going to use my time, my energy, my effort to develop this thing in order for me to have that potential to earn. Yesterday, I sat down with a brother of mine and we had a conversation and did a calculation. And those calculations look very good. Well, those calculations ain't going nowhere if I've not got the systems in place. So I'm building the systems. No system is getting built if somebody is not building it. And I do not have any other somebody to build it for me right now. So guess who has to build the system? And that is precisely what I'm doing at the moment. If the Lord permits, if the Lord blesses my hustle, and I pray he does, in a few months, some of you will sit here and you will tell me I'm lucky. Some of you will sit here and you will tell me that I did not share the process with you. It's not really useful to us when everything is already set up and you are telling us the success story. So you are the reasons why I come here. And there are plenty of videos that I have made. Whilst I was doing the doctorate, I used to wake up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m. And when I woke, I made many videos here to help you guys see the timelines so that you could see the exact sacrifice it takes. Yeah, somebody was telling me, I am so in awe of you. I'm like, well, wow, you've got the doctorate title. You are so lucky to be able to. I'm like, I'm so lucky. The person says, with young children, I'm like, you do know that I also have had children, right? You do know it took me 6 years to do this stupid doctorate. 6 years ago, my children were in middle school, lower secondary. I was seriously parenting also. And no, I was seriously working full time also. And no, that was not enough. So I needed to run baby businesses around, and I was building this platform also. I was building on so many different levels also simultaneously. So at the moment, when you look at these accomplishments, it looks amazing. Are you willing to pay the price? Is the question I'm asking you. Are you willing? Or are you looking for convenience and still expect to see the outcomes? You are a madman or a madwoman if you think that you are going to choose based on convenience and then magically end up getting to the places you want to get to. There will be sacrifices if you are going to get where you want to get to. Bear with me. Are you guys able to see me on this Facebook app? Everything is very still over here, so I don't know. Oh, okay, Kingwise, you just sorted my question. I was about to ask, can you guys see me? Because I had issues with the network on the actual Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We are talking about the sacrifices it would take you to get where you want to be. Some of you, like me, need to go to work. You need to come back from work, and you need to come and sit on your backside to do more work, like I am. Some of you, when it is your weekend and people are chilling and partying, because a few people were chilling and partying and invited me to come and chill and party, I did not dare. I did not dare go anywhere tonight. So this is what happened to my husband and I. We met at the mall, our local mall, because we both needed to go to a place. We went to the place, and then it wasted our time. We got there maybe about 1:15, and we left the place at 3 p.m. ish. When we finished, actually, we bought lunch, my husband and I, in plastic containers. And we went to sit in his car and had lunch in the car park of this mall, because the food was made warm and we could not be bothered to carry it here to rewarm. Yeah. And we don't have children. We don't have anybody with us. It's now just the two of us. So the two of us who happened to be in that space in agreement decided we will have our lunch in the car. So we ate in the car. He moved his car. I followed him. No, it was the other way around. I moved, he followed me, and we drove our backsides to our house. When we got to this house, I smiled at this guy. And I went into the children's spare room because in the afternoon, I cannot sleep in my own bed. When I get into my bed, there is this whole pressure of needing to sleep. And then I can't comfort. So I went into the spare room where I am stealing some sleep, and it seems to be working for my brain. I slept from about 3 o'clock, maybe 3:30 eventually when I got here and was settled to sleep, maybe 3:30. And when I woke up, it was 7 p.m. here. Since 7 p.m., I have been sitting on my bottom right here. Right here. I got myself a light snack. At some point, I haven't even managed to move my plate and go anywhere else because I have been sat here since 7 p.m. And it is 2:21 a.m. now. 8, let's say I even gave me at 7:30. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. It's been 7 hours since I have been sitting here on my backside. This is what it takes to get where I need to get to. This is what it takes. This is what it will take. In a few months, I'll come back and I'll tell you of some progress I've made. I just want you also to know that this is what it took. This is what it would have taken to get there. Those who want to get to those places, I also want you to understand exactly what it will require. And then when you get down to do it, you actually be quiet and you get it done. Because if you are not careful, you'll find yourself caught in the whining cycle, what I call the whining cycle. And sometimes whilst you are whining itself is not harmless. Whining can be harmful. If whining discourages you, it's harmful. So if you haven't got parameters in to prevent discouraging yourself, then you've got to make sure that you don't even permit the whining in the first place. There are some levels of whining that you should not permit, you should not allow. You can't feel sorry for yourself. I still have 37 minutes before the strategy call. and whatever it takes to make sure that I stay here till 3 a.m. my local time, hanging on by a very thin thread to have this conversation with this team, to make sure that this money I paid this evening begins to work for me immediately. We is doing it. We is doing it. You hear me? Why is this relevant? It's relevant to those of you who also need to be able to get to places like where I am heading. Not this one. Not you. That is the one I need. Yeah. Cool beans. Yeah. I am busy. I am moving. I hope you are also busy and you are also moving. I hope that you are also interested. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I'm looking at so many things. I'm like, girl, why didn't people tell me all these things existed? Heck. Whew. Yeah. I need to sort this thing out and make sure somebody can tell me how this works. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so King Wise, you have summed it up. 3 a.m. is too much now. Let me tell you why it's not too much. The people I need to do what I need are in the United States. For them, it is late afternoon, their normal working hours. If I am not willing to stay up at stupid o'clock, I cannot do business with those in the US. But the people I need to be able to make the progress I need to make live and work in the US. So I have two options. Either I do not work with people in the US and I don't get the option to make the progress I desire, or I suck it up like a bucket of lemons and I sit here at 3 a.m. And so, guess what? I'm going to sit here at 3 a.m. I'm going to work. And then I'm going to crawl like a spider into my bed. And I'm not even going to be able to sleep for long because when I need something to be done, my brain will be churning. Come on, you need to wake and do it. You need to wake and do it. So I'll wake up quite early in the morning to come and continue. What I have learned to do, though, which is sensible, is in the afternoon, I will sneak into the children's room and go grab myself maybe 2-3 hours like I did today. This is what it would take to get out. This is what it would take me to get out. And I'm asking you, do you know what it would take you to get out? Do you? You don't? If you don't know what it would take you to get out, you probably are not getting out, And the first time somebody said that to me, it was so ominous to me, but it's true. If you don't know what will get you out, you probably are not going to be able to do what you don't know. And because you don't know, and you cannot do what you don't know, chances are that you cannot get where you need to get to because you don't know what to do and you will not be doing it. So if you want to make it out, the first thing to know is how to make it out. What do you need to do and not to do? What I cannot do is sleep whilst those who have made it are sleeping. What I cannot do is party with those who have resources for party. What I cannot do is sit idle and idle. With those of you who can afford to idle or you are willing to stay where you are at. Some people are idling because they can afford it. And some of you are idling because you are stupid. And you are idling along people that you shouldn't be idling with. Either case, I don't dare idle right now. I cannot afford idling. And so when you see me in a few months, especially in the new year, celebrating with my team, cheering to them, sharing success, understand what happens before any of that. What happens before any of that is set up, building systems. You build with your claws and you scratch with your claws. I am so tired. And yeah, the girl says, I can make an appointment for you on Monday. I'm like, no, darling, you cannot make an appointment for me on Monday because Monday I will wake up at 6 to go to work. I cannot be awake at this time on a Monday and survive the working day. I cannot. So no, we is not doing Monday. If I don't do it this Friday, the next time I'll get a chance to do it is next Friday, which would have wasted a quarter of the month that I have just paid for today. I have paid for a month on this program today. I cannot afford to waste a quarter of that month waiting to get to set up because actually I don't even know whether they can set all of it up for me upfront. Even when I get them, it may take them time to set up. And if it takes time to set up, that will waste even more of the time that I have paid for. So, Natasha, how are you doing? As somebody who has not got the luxuries of wastage in my systems at the moment, we have to wait. Enoch, your courses are very early where I live. Okay. If my courses are that important to you, Carrie Ann, you will make it a priority to turn up. Like I am making it a priority to wait. 29 minutes I have to my meeting. And yes, it will be 3 a.m. in my local time, but my God, I'm going to turn up to that meeting. Cynthia, why am I making it to that meeting? Because I care about the possibility of progress. Because it's unthinkable to imagine being here a year from now. Unthinkable. I would want, come the end of January, to have the luxuries to make certain decisions. Simon, I would like to be able to exist in spaces under certain conditions. I do not want to be people's floor mats anymore. But I do have realities that revolve around money. And so if I don't set these systems up to bring money in these alternative ways, skinny, I will have to continue doing what I've always done, which has not worked well for me up to this point. And in fact, right now, going to work the traditional way in the thing that I have always done is very challenging. I am overqualified for what I do. And it plays on your mind. I am overqualified for what I do. But those who are with you in those places, they only see that which you have been given to do as the limits and confines of what you can do. So no, I cannot operate in those spaces. I've got to start looking for better ways to do things. Well, all good. Talking about better ways to do things. But at the end of the month, when my bills need to be paid, my bills don't care how I got the money. And so, yeah, now I need to do what I need to do and continue to build what I need to build. And the building of what I need to build is going to happen in when I would have slept, in when I would have been working for my comfort, in where I would have been chilling and relaxing and yakking with you. And can you have a show where we come and we air our difficulties? Great. I can't afford much of those shows now because Ame's time is actually being used for setup. Truth. I'm not going to kid you. I don't think any of you needs kidding. But I'm also sharing this because, Sarah, those of you who are going on this journey, I meet so many people who are not aware of the realities of the journeys they are going on. I have a lot of students, they want to make progress, but they also want comfort whilst they make progress. I'm like, really? Your ancestors are where your ancestors are because your ancestors refused to pay the price. Those whose ancestors paid the price are the ones who made it out. Do you want to make it out? Then there's a price to pay. Del, Alice, Doris, there is a price to pay. The bus fare must be paid before you ride the bus. Your plane fare must be paid before you get a ticket to the plane. There is a price to pay to be able to go on journeys. There's a price to pay. Counselor Lutherans. Hey, George. George, you see why this your sister I need to call George. I have needed to call George for God knows how long, and George has not smelt anywhere near me. But George, I have a meeting in 30 minutes. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to go and grab 3-4 hours. You are on my hit list today. I will call you. So it will be when I wake up, which will be evening at your end, but I will call you. Time is not free. And time is not free. And if you can afford time, good for you. I am jealous of you. Those of us who cannot afford time, we have to be very efficient. Like I was saying, I really need to speak to George. But I am up to here right now because I've got to do this so that all the things I need to do can then connect and work seamlessly. If I don't pay this price right now, I will remain where I am for the foreseeable future. And that thought is unthinkable for me. 2 years ago, when I was first building my business platform, go back to between, Valerie, how you doing? Go back to between May 2022 to about December 2022 and watch my videos. Pay attention to the language I was speaking. See the hunger in my eyes, see the desperation in my physique, and pay attention again to about June 2023 onwards. And you would have found that I had become very relaxed because the systems that I had built in 2022 were building momentum and yielding results for me in 2023. At the moment, I have used those systems for a year, and I have come to know that I have to keep using and flushing more energy. Amamanson has to be omnipresent, but Amamanson is also tired. I've been working for all my life. I'm tired. So now I need to move myself from omnipresence into recurring income. Yeah, I want a passive recurring income. I don't even just want passive income. I want passive recurring. And you will not build passive recurring incomes without new systems. So guess what? 2 years later, I am back and I am building and I am establishing, and my knuckles are bleeding. My eyes are on fire. My head is spinning. But if I have the discipline to do this in November and December 2024, I will be smiling in 2025. So that I don't live the same difficult life with financial constraints in 2025, I must do this. There is no alternative. I must do this. So I am doing it. Pat, Kwamina, Barbara, I greet you. Let me ask you, how many of you do need? Selassie is here. Selassie, your nyash has to smoke. I need to smoke Selassie's nyash. Selassie is one of my students, and I'm very delighted he's here because this conversation I am having is one I'm also having with my students. Many of my students would like to make progress. They dream of it. But the cost of the sacrifice to get there is expensive. Yeah, 2:38 a.m. in Abu Dhabi. and I am still 22 minutes away from the meeting, a meeting that will be an hour and a half. Look at me. Do I even look awake to you? Am I awake? I don't think so. Am I alert? I don't think so. But we are going to do everything we can because I cannot be sleeping in discomfort right now. In fact, if I go to sleep now, I won't sleep well anyway, because calculations about the financial burdens that I've got coming will wake me up. And so what's the point in sleeping when I can't sleep? Salut, 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 Selassie. I cannot sleep anyway, so I don't dare waste my time attempting to pretend to sleep. What we are going to do instead is me making sensible choices, making the right sacrifices. So if you are in my network, we have stopped setting goals. These days, the language I use with the people I coach and mentor is that we set sacrifices. Mama says set sacrifice for right now is to keep awake for another 21 minutes to get on this call and to keep awake and alert to remain on that call, to have conversations and make sure that these people understand what needs to be done for me, in order that the payment I have just hustled to make is not wasted. I've paid for a month and I must enjoy a month of service. But you cannot enjoy a month of service when it is not set up. So yeah, the inconvenience of right now is to the efficiency of my systems. Deborah, yeah, Moses, Etsy, I greet all of you. George, good morning. Where are you watching from? And where is your life right now? Are you happy with how your life is going right now? If you are, I am very jealous, very jealous. If you are not happy with your life right now, come and join the club. There is a whole league of us right here. And when you are in this is the people pile. It is the rut. Yeah, we are here. Most of us are here. We don't have, we are uncomfortable here and we don't know how to get the hell out of here, most cases. And occasionally I find people who tell us how the hell to get out. Let me go and find this one if I can. It's a reel that I shared a few weeks ago. People have reshared it and I've seen that it's doing really well right now and people are watching it and commenting on it. And Amaman and myself need to find it so I can show you where it is getting out of the people pile. Has it been that long? Have I made that many reels? I forget how many pieces of content I put out in a day. Not this one. These are all fairly recent. Let me find it. I'm playing, again, I always say this and people laugh at me. I make these videos for me as much as I make it for you, you know. Yeah, these videos are for me. I need to hear some of these messages myself. And so I get these messages for myself. Let's go into, oh, some things are way back. And I forget how far back they go. I think this one was even before that one. Is this it? No, it's not. There it is. Let me play it for you.
The same, you'll be in the same place. You don't.
Let's start again.
As long as you stay the same, you'll be in the same place. You don't get out of the people pile by accident. You don't get out of the people pile by luck. You're going to have to make decisions you've never made before. You're going to have to be courageous. You're going to have to take steps you've never taken before. You get out of the people pile by intentionally doing something you've never done before and paying a price that you've never paid before.
What? Do what you have never done before. That is not even the thing. It's pay the price you have never paid before. Yeah. I'm sitting here at 2:43 a.m. counting down another 17 minutes before a meeting. on majority, right? How you doing? On majority of the strategy videos, meetings that I make at this time, I would have slept way before now, and I would be waking recently. But this one, I've been here for about 8 hours working because I haven't got a choice. And yes, you must be willing to pay a price.
As long as you stay the same.
You have never paid before, because if you continue to pay the price you have always paid, you will end up the same way you have always been. Let's start it one more time.
As long as you stay the same, you'll be in the same place. You don't get out of the people pile by accident. You don't get out of the people pile by luck. You're going to have to make decisions you've never made before. You're going to have to be courageous. You're going to have to take steps you've never taken before. You get out of the people pile by intentionally doing something you've never done before and paying a price that you've never paid before.
Yes. Write it somewhere for yourself. Intentionality is a significant aspect of this. Bravado, being brave. When I was making the payment for the system, my bottom was dancing, Selassie. My bottom was dancing. I would like to have kept the money in my bank account so that I feel less naked. But you've got to be willing to pay a price that you haven't paid before. So we've just cleaned my bank account to do this. You have to be courageous. You have to be dogged in your determination. You have to be realistic of your situation. And then you work at it. You hear me? With everything you have. This last 15 minutes is the most painful. I have managed to survive up until when I booked the appointment. I had a 1.5 hours wait. And I wasn't sure. You have to be intentional. Selassie, look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Intentional. Left to me alone, even me, the insomniac, is tired at this time. These last 15 minutes, we will have to be intentional. I have a confession. If I was sitting here quietly, I would have fallen asleep by now. So guess what? I turned on the camera to get you guys. I turned the camera on to get you guys. And I am intentional in remaining awake. I am deliberate in seeking this particular team. Oh, I am purposeful in the things that I want to achieve with this team. And I know the importance of going off the omnipresent model to start having recurring passive income. And so far, this is the best method I have found for recurring passive income. So guess what? Guess who? Guess who is making intentional choices right now? Guess who is being brave, even stupid? Guess who is in her zone of discomfort right now? But if this one is able to see through, I have seen many episodes in my own life, not even in anybody's life, in my own life, on this journey. I have made high investment episodes and I've seen the benefits of them. And so now it is easy for me to make that decision. I've seen what can be got from what you can do. Yeah, I have seen what can be got from what we can do. And when I am running out of steam, you need to listen to people like
this. As long
this.
as you stay the same, you'll be in the same place. You don't get out of the people pile by accident. You don't get out of the people pile by luck. You're going to have to make decisions you've never made before. You're going to have to be courageous. You're going to have to take steps you've never taken before. You get out of the people pile by intentionally doing something you've never done before and paying a price that you've never paid before. As long as you stay the same.
And usually when I listen to these things, I let it roll.
There's a great story of Kobe Bryant, the basketball player. His first year as a professional, his team reached the playoffs, and he was the superstar, the young superstar. And in the last minute of the game, he had 3 shots to win the game for his team and missed all.
Pay attention. This is a story from Kobe Bryant. But listen, because you will learn some lessons. There are some truths. There are some reasons why we have not made the progress some of us have dreamed of for a long time.
There's a great story of Kobe Bryant, the basketball player. His first year as a professional, his team reached the playoffs, and he was the superstar, the young superstar. And in the last minute of the game, he had 3 shots to win the game for his team and missed all 3. And at the end of the game, the commentators were astounded. This great talent missed all 3 shots. And he was sat down on the bench, and his head was in his hands. And they were talking about how he must feel dreadful. And when he got up to come off the court, they managed to get an interview with him and said, Kobe, you were sat on the bench with your head in your hands. You must have felt terrible. And he looked at me and he said, what's feeling got to do with it? I was working.
What's feeling got to do with it, my people? Feeling has nothing to do with it. Huh? Right now, 11 minutes before this meeting, my feeling is that I need to be in my bed. What's feeling got to do with it? Feeling has nothing to do with it, and a lot of us make our decisions here.
Dreadful.
Listen.
And when he got up to come off the court, they managed to get an interview with him and said, Kobe, you were sat on the bench with your head in your hands. You must have felt terrible. And he looked at me and said, what's feeling got to do with it? I was working out why I missed those shots. I now know why I missed those shots, and I can do something about it. And that's a great coping strategy when you have a setback. Setbacks knock you emotionally off balance. But you've got to work beyond the emotion to get to, why did I have that setback? What?
The Mamba mindset. So, as I was saying to you before, I am at a crossroad again. And if I allow my brain tells me that my bank account is empty and I'm back to the same place 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that I promised never to be at. If you dwell on the feeling, you will remain here. But you have to also bypass that and tell yourself, hold on. No, a lot of progress has been made in the 30 years. But there's also a reason why my account is empty. It is being depleted faster than it's getting filled. What's feeling got to do with anything? What reasons got to do with anything? It doesn't even matter what's happened in the past. What is important right now is that you replenish faster than depletion. At the moment, I need replenishing very fast because the depletion is happening like a time bomb. Tick, 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 tick. So I've got to go faster in replenishing. And if I'm able to replenish faster than depletion, then I will start getting comfortable. What has feeling got to do with it? Listen.
I was working out why I missed those shots. I now know why I missed those shots, and I can do something about it. And that's a great coping strategy when you have a setback. Setbacks knock you emotionally off balance. But you've got to work beyond the emotion to get to, why did I have that setback? What can I learn from it? How am I going to avoid it in the future? And go on.
I love that. That's amazing.
There's a great story.
Yeah. And I have these guys, they sit on my thing. Sometimes I share some with you. And these guys is why I invite you into my community, into the Progressive People community, to come and learn some of these interesting things with me. You should come and learn interesting things with me because in this life, there are very interesting truths to be told. I was looking for another one to share with you, but I don't know which one this is.
So one day you had this man and his elderly dad that was like in his 80s.
This is not the one. This is on a different domain. Oh, who is this one? I was looking for a Vusi one.
So before we delegate, we master. Once we've mastered, we document.
Listen. And this is the final word I want to leave with you. Amma, why are you yourself sat here doing this yourself right now at 3 a.m. almost?
So before we delegate, we master. Once we've mastered, we document. When we document, we train, and that's how you delegate.
Bama! If you run a business, We see?
So
It's
before
giving
we
this.
delegate, we master.
You must master.
Once we've mastered,
You
we
document.
When we document,
We
we
train.
train, and that's how you delegate.
Bam.
But if you don't start at mastery,
Like-
you can't document.
Whoa, you cannot. Oh. I cannot let somebody go for this call for me so they know more about my business than I do. I cannot. I cannot delegate to a more knowledgeable person. That is career suicide. We cannot. A lot of you want to do a lot of things, but you don't want to sit down and do the mastery and gain the expertise on. You will be an idiot at the realm of affairs. And I no longer want to do that. I've done that before, cost me dearly. Not doing it again. So why are you staying to do it with by yourself? Selassie, bam. You must master. You must document. You must train before you delegate anything to anybody. I am at stage number 1. I am about to seek mastery. And mastery itself is a journey. I'm not going to get mastery one time, but at least we can kick off the processes that can get me the mastery I want of my systems. It's working on mastery. Mastery, my people. Mastery. We see? Let's go.
So before we delegate, we master. Once we've mastered, we document. When we document, we train, and that's how you delegate. But if you don't start at mastery, you can't document, therefore can't train, because you haven't spent the time learning it. So before we delegate, we master. Once we've mastered, we document. When we document, we train, and that's how you delegate. But if you don't start at...
And ladies and gentlemen, that's the point at which I will have to depart this beautiful conversation we are having to start getting ready for the meeting I have been sitting and waiting on for God knows how long. It is finally time for yours truly to go and meet the team in the additional request 7 days a week. You can click here. No. If I experience anything, yeah, it's a 60-minute call. Oh, damn. But the 60-minute call, fortunately, is in 4 minutes. Yes. And this girl has just survived one of the greatest, craziest things that I needed to do for the sake of the progress that I want to make. It's a very tired Amamansin, but a very tired and doggedly determined Amamansin. Wishing you a fabulous Saturday morning, my end, Friday evening for some of you. I'll see you tomorrow. And if you don't see me very early on the broadcast, you know why.